All right, I'm going to expect this room to be a little bit more energetic when it comes to questions from here on out. We have the biggest room, so big shoes to fill. Okay. So next up here in the computer science room, we have Lucid Circuit from USC. And no booze. I know we're at UCLA, but be kind.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, excellent. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michel Sika, and I'm the founder and CEO of Lucid Circuit. And we're making a space-robust chip for AI and small satellites. So we live in an analytics-driven society today, right? We use satellites for just about everything. We observe man-made and natural phenomena on Earth, and we use this to determine trends and predict events and to establish policies that affect us all. Thanks to the commercialization of space, we're finally able to move away from the dependency on these larger satellites. They're large, they're expensive, they take a long time to develop, and they only capture a small amount of information and they make it available to a select few. Fortunately, today, we're able to leverage constellations of larger satellites. These larger satellites, I'm sorry about that. Something caught my eye there. So these constellations of larger satellites, these constellations of smaller, cheaper satellites basically give us better coverage and at just a fraction of the cost. And more importantly, they offer redundancy in case some of these satellites fail. Let's just take a moment here to think about how we're doing the analytics. There we go. All right. So we now have these small satellites, right? They capture huge amounts of information, and we need to get this information back down to Earth. Unfortunately, the links on these small satellites are very slow. To make matters worse, the satellites are going around the Earth really, really quickly. So they're only over their ground stations for a brief period of time. So what that means is that a satellite needs to make several rotations just to download this information. So the way people are solving it right now is they have lots of ground stations. Okay, that's great. Now you have lots of ground stations, you can get your information down to Earth, but then you still need to collect all the information before you can begin to have your analytics. And this is just for one satellite. There are companies out there that are planning constellations as large as 1,000+ satellites. So we're going to have these huge networks of ground stations. This is really quickly going to become untenable. This is just the beginning of analytics. So how do we address this? Well, we could try to move the analytics into the satellite. And so my company, Lucid Circuit, is developing a direct-to-user analytics solution. So our chip, called Astrum, is essentially made robust for space, and it comes in an efficient enough package that it can fit in a satellite, so you can get your analytics directly. So this way, you only need to download your analytics. You don't need to download the whole payload. So you can do this in a single pass. So you can go over one base station, in a single pass, you can download your analytics. This is really powerful because you no longer will have to worry about these huge networks of ground stations. And to make it even more interesting, a strategist could be anywhere in the world, and with a single base station and with a single pass, they can receive all their analytics in one shot. And they get this information in real time. So if you're a strategist who needs to save lives, for instance, you don't have to worry anymore. So this is really all happening because of the commercialization of space, right? And so some of the trends that we see here are the reduction in launch costs. Small satellites are becoming much more cheaper, and there's a huge demand for them. So these trends are really feeding off of each other, and they're causing a huge demand for geospatial analytics. And our Astrum processor is really in a position to ensure that we can sustain these trends. So let's look at our target here. Our initial target is really going to be the hardware segments within the microelectronics portions of the small commercial satellites. And to do this, we hope to fly our Astrum processor very, very soon, and this should make a big impression on our potential customers. So our early stage customers are going to be those that come up with the specifications for small satellites in order to satisfy their analytics product requirements. Then from there, we're going to expand to other customers with a longer-term strategy, which will be the DoD prime customers. And we're going to do this by focusing in parallel both on commercial and defense. There you go. So what are we going to sell? So we're going to start with some tangible assets, which are going to be actual processors and accelerator boards. And we're going to make these available to our early market customers. We're going to follow this up by cut to size custom IP for our longer strategy customers. And so basically, those are customers that need custom solutions. And so we're going to use a licensing and royalty fee approach for that. And to all our customers, they're going to need software development tools in order to use our product. And so there's going to be recurring revenue from that. So there are a lot of companies out there that are doing machine learning and AI. Unfortunately, they're all focused on terrestrial applications. The future of analytics is in space, not on Earth. But in order to do this, you need to be able to do lots of computations really quickly in an incredibly efficient manner while ensuring that your solution is robust and lightweight enough to fit into a satellite. And we figured out just how to do this. So our Astrum processor is backed by a large amount of IP that belongs exclusively to Lucid Circuit. We're also exclusively licensing some $30 million worth of proven R&D technology out of USC. And all in all, we're the only solution that completely integrates an efficient machine learning fabric with in-silicon security features, because you need to make sure you can transmit your data safely. And all of this in a package that's resilient enough to operate in space and low power enough for satellite applications. What you see right here, this is an example of an experimental validation of our technology. We've basically replicated the harshness of space here on Earth just to ensure that our technology works accurately. So this is a multidisciplinary team. You need a lot of expertise to pull something like this off. So my background is in microelectronics and in efficient architectures. Gail brings together the managerial experience necessary for the cross-disciplinary projects that we work on. Donatello's experience is in developing anything that's machine learning for all our products. We have to use a lot of machine learning to get this right. Aaron is leading the development of these customized software development kits that's needed to interface with our Astrum processors. And Yvonne is our radiation physics expert. He ensures that our radiation models are in touch with reality. And Ryan has been instrumental in ensuring that he's been instrumental with our IP matters, essentially. So how did we actually start off? We started off working on a project for the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. And essentially, we had to come up with a technology that would ensure that microelectronics, when in the proximity of a nuclear weapon going off, could survive. And this is technology that we're leveraging right now and incorporating it into Astrum. And more recently, we're starting to get in touch with some of the players that are at the forefront of space and aerospace. Too many spaces. Anyway, this is kind of the timeline of Astrum to this point. We've done some experimental validation. We've built up some IP, and we've also got a couple of awards. But right now, we're really focused on delivering a preview version of the Astrum processor at the end of next year. We plan on following this up by an actual flight of the Astrum processor the subsequent year. In order to pull this off, we need a lot of investment, essentially, to focus on building the chip. We need to grow our team, basically, and we need a little bit of help with business development. And of course, we're really interested in meeting anybody who's involved in aerospace or small satellites or geospatial analytics. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. Please let me know if you have any questions. No questions? Yes, please.
You casually dropped on one of the slides a $1 million award.
Oh, right.
Can you provide a little more information on that?
Absolutely. So we were selected for a phase 2 SBIR.
Okay.
So it's basically non-dilutive, and we'll be starting this pretty soon. So yes, we basically have, other than the little bit that we've given to USC, we still have all our equity. So we're all funded through various grants and through my investment. Thank you. Anybody else?